Once again, today I'm going to refer to something that happened a bit earlier. And even though it's already occurred, it doesn't mean that the energy of that experience isn't still present with me. And some information that came through because of it is what I really want to share. But first, I will describe what happened. I run 5 days a week. I run 5 miles 5 days a week. And I always take the same exact route. And today, as I was running by one of the suburban houses that I always pass, this huge wolf-like dog came running out from the backyard and roaring at me and chasing me. And I'm not afraid of dogs. I love dogs, but this dog was threatening, so I stopped running. And I first said sit, and it, it didn't listen to me. And I started to move again, and then it started to make its way toward me again. So I stopped. And I said the word go, I believe. And then all of a sudden, the energy of this dog was completely overtaken with terror. And it backed up from me and turned around and ran off. And then as it ran off, it looked back at me to make sure I wasn't coming after it. And I was then completely encompassed by the energy of Sitting Bull. And as I've mentioned, I think before, Sitting Bull is an energy that I've connected to in the past. And I feel that he billowed up behind me and made his presence known and scared the dog off, which I didn't feel glad that I scared the dog, but I also felt glad that I didn't get attacked by the dog. So thank you, Sitting Bull. And I really reflected on this experience for the rest of my run, and I still am reflecting on it. And as I do, I think about the idea of co-opting indigenous cultures and this new movement toward disallowing white people to co-opt indigenous movements. And I find that movement to be hypocritical at best because yes, Sitting Bull was an indigenous energy, was a Native American energy in life, but now Sitting Bull is a part of the soup of consciousness, the unitive consciousness. And I'm allowed to access Sitting Bull's energy just as everybody else is. And it's not about co-opting. I understand that there tends to be a practice of using indigenous cultural practices in ceremony for white people and that that is off-putting to many. I don't really understand why anybody cares as long as no one's being harmed. However, in this case, in telling the story, I hesitated because I questioned whether I'd be judged for suggesting that I have a connection to Sitting Bull. Who do I think I am? Even though I am connected to First Nations people in Canada, so I guess maybe I have a little bit of a right, but if other white people aren't allowed, then neither am I. So I hesitated, but then I sat with it and breathed with it and felt that shame that was arising. And I felt Sitting Bull remind me of that fact that once we pass on into the next place, the next realm, the next form, we're no longer in that body. And so Sitting Bull's memory comes through to me because it's the aspect of his energy that I am familiar with, but his energy is no longer that. His energy is the unitive energy and all of the many things that he was in all of his many lifetimes. And so the part that I remember is the part that was Sitting Bull, but there are other parts of him that others may have remembered thousands of years ago. And he reminded me that it's more about connecting with the energetic shift that is allowed through the presence of an energy like that, and not about holding oneself accountable for believing that somebody of his descent would deign to make his presence known to me. And he also reminded me of the many traditional beliefs that we are going to come to a place where all are holding hands, where brown, white, black, all are holding hands and coming together in peace and harmony and ascension. And so he wanted me to share, and I feel called to share, that we all have these protective energies around us, and they're not associated with an individual necessarily. It's just how we are able to make sense of them and how we're able to connect is by by keying into the narrative of that energy's life that we're familiar with. But we all have that. And if we continue to work toward the connection to those energies, then we all have the possibility to be protected from the rabid dog that might attack us. And that it's not the special few who would have this protection. It's all of us. And it can come from any source. And there's no limitation on that source. We need to let go of these boundaries that we place around ourselves that says, I am allowed to be connected to this, but not this, and I'm allowed to do this, but not this because of who I am and who they were. No, we're all one. We're all connected. We all just need to breathe, ask for help, feel, and be. Thank you.